The Korean soil battery hack, yeah, it really can supercharge your garden all year round. Most gardeners, they think fertility must be added constantly. Tea today, compost tomorrow, amendments every other week. But there's a far more powerful idea, quietly practiced for generations in Korean natural farming, storing fertility inside the soil itself, exactly like charging a battery. Once charged, that soil just keeps feeding plants long after the inputs are gone. It's honestly one of the simplest, most overlooked systems for year-round garden power, and the moment you understand how it works, your entire approach to soil care changes. The Korean method recognizes something gardeners often forget. Fertility is not the liquid you pour or the compost you dump. Fertility is the engine made of biology, minerals, carbon, and living structure that keeps releasing energy slowly and steadily. When you charge the soil battery, your garden becomes less dependent on constant feeding and more capable of powering itself. So, how does the soil battery concept actually work? Korean farmers build soil around the idea of long-term nutrient storage. The core belief is that the best soil is not one that needs weekly rescue, but one that holds nutrients, protects them, and releases them only when plants signal for them through root exudates. To do this, the soil must contain carbon to hold nutrients, minerals to supply diversity, microbes to cycle those nutrients, and a habitat for microbes to survive drought, cold, and heat. In other words, a soil battery needs three major things: something to store the energy, something to energize it, and something to deliver the power to the plant. Once all three are in place, the soil works continuously, even when you are not adding anything. Building the carbon layer that holds power. Korean growers lean heavily on carbon because it acts like a sponge that holds fertility. Without carbon, nutrients just flush away and soil biology, well, it collapses. But with carbon, nutrients lock into place and remain available for months or even years. The best, most stable form of carbon for long-term storage is charred carbon, like biochar. When you incorporate it properly, it becomes a permanent reservoir inside your soil battery. To charge biochar before use, mix 1 liter of dry biochar with 1 liter of finished compost and add 1 liter of water. Then, let the mixture rest for at least 72 hours. The compost inoculates the carbon with microbes, preventing it from pulling nutrients away from your plants. Once charged, mix the biochar compost blend into the top 6 inches of soil at a rate of 1 liter per square meter. This becomes the backbone of your soil battery, allowing nutrients from any organic input to be held instead of lost. Adding the mineral spectrum that fuels fertility is, well, a key step in building healthy soil. Carbon holds fertility, sure, but minerals provide the nutrients and trace elements needed for active plant metabolism. Korean farmers traditionally used mountain dust, ground stone, or ash, because they understood the importance of mineral diversity long before modern soil science. A simple version for gardeners is to add a balanced mineral dust. You can mix 1 cup of rock dust with 5 liters of water and stir until it's evenly distributed. Then, just apply this slurry across 1 square meter of soil and water it in. The minerals supply essential elements for microbes and plants, while the water helps carry them deeper into the soil profile. Over time, minerals react with carbon and organic matter, creating long-lasting nutrient complexes that, become part of the soil battery's stored charge. Supercharging the soil battery with liquid microbial energy, well, that's the secret sauce. The soil battery just doesn't work without biology to unlock and deliver nutrients. In Korean natural farming, the most efficient way to really supercharge microbial activity is by using fermented extracts. These extracts supply both dormant and active microbes, enzymes, and organic acids that jumpstart decomposition and nutrient cycling. A highly effective extract can actually be made using equal parts fruit scraps and brown sugar. Just mix 1 kilogram of chopped fruit with 1 kilogram of brown sugar. Press them together until the sugar begins to liquefy, then seal loosely and let ferment for 7 days. After those 7 days, go ahead and strain the liquid. This is your concentrated extract. So, to apply it, You'll want to dilute 1 tablespoon of the extract in about 5 liters of water. Then, just apply it directly to the soil around your plants, or, across an empty bed before planting. This microbial burst, well, it activates the carbon, wakes up the minerals, and really begins charging the soil battery with biological power. Creating the organic layer is what keeps the battery alive. The final piece of the Korean soil battery is this protective layer. Fertility simply cannot be stored if the soil is left exposed. Sunlight, wind, and heat all work to destroy microbial life and carbon structure. That's why Korean growers honestly refuse to leave soil bare, even for a single day. The simplest protective layer is, well, mulch. But the Korean approach actually uses mulch as an active nutrient-releasing blanket, not just as a cover. Add about 3 to 4 inches of shredded plant matter, straw, or dried leaves right over the charged soil. So, the mulch, slowly feeds microbes, moderates soil temperature, prevents nutrient loss, and protects the biological engine beneath. Every time the mulch breaks down, it recharges the soil battery with fresh organic acids and carbon fragments. This is exactly why soil built using this method becomes richer each year instead of depleted. When you combine carbon, minerals, microbes, and a protective layer, your soil battery becomes capable of storing massive amounts of fertility. The moment roots enter the soil, plants begin tapping into the stored charge. The more diverse the root systems you grow, the more stable and powerful the soil battery becomes. Over time, you'll notice something remarkable. Plants require fewer external feeds, crops grow more evenly, and soil remains moist longer. It becomes easier to hit high yields without constant additions because the soil is no longer dependent on your hands. It has become self-sustaining. Maintaining the battery for continuous power, the Korean approach is simple. Feed lightly and consistently, rather than heavily and sporadically. Every few weeks, apply the diluted ferment extract to keep biology active. Add a thin layer of mulch whenever the previous layer decomposes. Add a small dose of rock dust a couple of times per year to refresh minerals. This gentle maintenance keeps the soil fully charged through heat, cold, drought, and heavy growth cycles. Your garden transforms from a system that constantly needs to be fed into one that feeds itself with stored fertility, exactly like a reliable battery that never fully drains. If you found this guide valuable and want more deep, practical gardening wisdom, remember to subscribe, like, and share this with other gardeners who want thriving soil and effortless growth year-round.